What's going on, guys? It's your boy Luke here. I just want to start off by saying sorry for not uploading. I've been thinking of making a new channel and I've been busy with doing tons of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to bring you an entirely new video that's a new subject on the entire gaming industry. And I'm going to be showing you I think it's about £930, which is a full build, a custom gaming PC build. And I'm going to show you all the parts, and then I'll link you to a couple of videos that will show you how to put it together if you decide to buy this setup. And I've read a lot of reviews about some of the parts that I chose for this build, and they are all compatible with each other, so you won't have any faults there. Most of them can run through every game, max settings, or at least high settings. Like, one set, like it will run games, ultra settings, high settings, good FPS. And I've went all out really on price for the graphics card. Like, some people say you don't really need that expensive of a graphics card, but I decided, well, it's a graphics card, I'm going to stick that in there. And actually, with this graphics card, I believe it's got enough HDMI ports and stuff that, well, I think it's a graphics card that has HDMI things, points, that you can buy this little USB HDMI attachment and hook it up to a series of monitors so you can get the all-round gaming experience. And you'd probably want to go with 3 monitors. That's probably the best setup you can go with for gaming. But that's really if you're like a full-time gamer, you love gaming, you do everything on your PC. And that will just give you enough to see all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and the way you're looking anyway. So you can never really be snuck on. But 4 might also be a good idea, so you can have one in front, one back, one side, so you can see everything around you, like a full 360 turn on 4 monitors. But anyway, let's get into this build. Starting off, we'll have the case, and I've gone with the Xiaomi Z9 MIDI tower. I've gone for the black one, and it costs £45, and it supports ATX, micro ATX, and it has 7 expansion slots. It supports the bottom PSU installation. It's got up to 7 system fans that can be installed into it, and it's a tool-free HDD installation. And currently, it's got 64 customer reviews. It's 4.9 out of 5 stars, so basically 5 stars. 56 people have rated it 5 star out of 64, and only 8 have rated it 4 star, which is still pretty good. Now, I'm buying most of my stuff off Amazon and Scan. I'm not really using any other websites for them, except for a couple of the products that I do use. But anyway, this is like the actual view of it. You have all your USB ports on the very top up here. You'll have this like Z kind of thing with LED lights. There's like a mesh on the side on the left hand side thing of the case, which shows inside it, and you can just see it's all lit up with the blue LED. So this is what it actually looks like when it's like powered down. It's pretty good. And if we go here, this is like the window bit up here, window bit down here, and then this like wire hexagon mesh thing that you can see inside. Technically, I would prefer just like a bit of glass in the window, or plastic, see-through, something that's just clear and like a square, so you can actually just see inside without like all the mesh. But this tower is cheap, it's adjustable, it's reliable. That's the word I was looking for. And it only costs £45, so it's not too much, not too like it doesn't cost much. But then again, it isn't like the cheapest, so you know that it will be reliable. And lots of people have recommended this case just because they think it's good. It's good for builds, custom builds, gaming PC builds, normal builds, and just all that kind of stuff. And okay, second part is going to be the motherboard. Now, when I was doing I think it was the £300 gaming PC I did on this channel, I think the motherboard was something like 30 quid. And I've gone a bit higher up for a £65 motherboard, but this usually looks like it's £84.32. It's a ASRock 970 Extreme 3 motherboard. It's an ATX motherboard, and it supports the chipset type AMD 970 and the AMD SB950. Its RAM size is 32 gig, and the RAM technology I think that is the DDR3, which is pretty standard for motherboards now. And it's just got all the instant boot and stuff like that. 4.5 star again. 13 people say it's 5 star. 4 people say 4 star. 2 say 3, and 5 people actually say 1 star. But the majority of people say 5 star and 4 star. So it's higher tier, so we're going to go with it, and it's been recommended by quite a lot of people, so just go with it. Maybe change something around to fit, like you can change some of the parts around to suit your needs really. Okay, moving on to our storage device. I'm going with the Western Digital 1TB internal hard drive. It's 3.5 inches long, and it costs £46.84 on Amazon again. And I would actually recommend getting a slightly bigger hard drive, or get separate hard drives. So, because if you're a gamer, full-time gamer, or something along those lines, then you do want to have a couple of terabyte hard drives. Because as a gamer, I know for a fact that 10 games will probably take up about 300 gig of your hard drive, and updates and stuff from Windows 7 and stuff will take even more, etc. on that. So I'd say have one hard drive just for games, maybe a terabyte, terabyte and a half, 2 terabytes, something like that. One hard drive or SSD for just your normal stuff, home stuff, music, etc. And then one for videos if you do YouTube and all that, just because videos can take up a lot of room as well. I know for a fact that Fraps, which is what I usually use to record, takes up about 3.95 gig per 3 minutes of video, and that's just a bit much for my liking. And rendering that down as well, you need it's hard, to be honest. Render it down, still only like 200 meg or something for like a 17 gig video, which is it's decreased by tons, but still it takes tons of time to upload on my internet connection anyway. But anyway, I'd recommend that. It's a 4.5 out of 5 star. 87 people have rated it 5 star. 20 people have rated it 4 star. 6 3 star. 1 2 star. And 6 1 star. But Western Digital, when my dad made his first computer, he used a Western Digital, and he said they're fast, efficient, trustworthy. Went on all the top websites to ask questions, and I'll link the one that's helped me the most really in the description, which is Tom's Hardware. There's tons. It's like the public helping the public really, and they helped me a lot to choose the right PC for me. This is going to be the PC I'm going to get. It's going to take me a couple of months, I think, to get the correct amount of cash. I'm currently on about £420 at the minute, and £20 a week. Maybe going to be going into something like babysitting to get like more money, £5 an hour, and that would just help me get it. Hopefully, I can, if babysitting takes off, I can get around £15 a night, £100 a week or something, and that would just make everything go really fast. and with that money as well, I could probably change some of the parts for even better parts. Okay, anyway, moving on to something that you need but isn't really that important. I'm gonna go with the optical drive for your DVDs and stuff, and I've chosen the Samsung times 24 DVD writer. It only costs £13, £18, including the VAT. It's 5 out of 5 star with 3 reviews, sorry. And it's just standard one. Open it up, put your disc in. All you need to do. All I really do with my CDs or DVDs, I watch them, or I burn discs, plain discs. This would be perfect for all that kind of stuff. But say if you want a Blu-ray, they cost quite a bit more, and you can just go with them. Or if you have a PS4, just do that. Or no, PS3, sorry, just go with that. Okay, moving on to the power supply now. I've gone for the OCZ ZS series, 550 watt. It's a power supply, and it's A+ bronze, which means it's efficient and effective. It costs £49.81, so round that to about £50. It's got 4.5 out of 5 star average, and you can get better power supplies, but when I asked on Tom's Hardware, they said this should be sufficient for everything in your build. So I decided to go with this. If I ever need to, I will upgrade to a slightly more powerful one, but you don't want to go too powerful with your power supply. You need to check everything on your parts, check how many watts they take, add it all up, and choose the closest watt to what you're having. Because if you go too powerful, you're losing energy, your PC won't be efficient or anything like that. Okay, moving on to the RAM now. I've gone with the G.Skill Ripjaws X, 8GB of RAM, and I'm going to take advantage of the dual gigabyte of DDR3, PC3, 12,800, 1600 megahertz, which is pretty fast. It's a dual channel kit, and it's two 4GB kits, which means A, it loads faster, and B, you can take advantage of 4GB, say if one of your channels broke. So even if you lost 4GB of your RAM with one of the modules breaking, you still have 4GB of RAM to play with, and to be honest, that's pretty more than enough to play most of the games at the minute. But I'm also thinking about switching to the G.Skill Ripjaws X 16GB, which is 8GB of RAM. It's like the same, just double this, and it costs double. It costs 130 quid. But I might save up for that later, or just get another pair of these. So I'll still have 16 gig, but with 4 modules, so it may be faster. But you know, anyway, I'm gonna move on now to. I'm gonna skip the graphics card for the time being and the CPU, because they are our two most expensive parts, and also leave the CPU cooler, because our CPU doesn't come with one. Or if it does, I'm not sure whether it does or not, but it isn't a good one as such. It won't keep it cool or correctly cooled anyway. So I've gone with another one, but I'm going to go with like your operating system, keyboard, mouse, and monitor that people have recommended again. Okay, so I like Windows 7 Home Premium, and you can get OEM on area.co.uk. It's about £65.99, usually around £70. I guess what you could do is go on PC World, because I think they're the same there. But OEM is basically, you can only install it on one motherboard. It locks to the first motherboard you install it on, and you can't get that back or anything like that. So, you know, it's kind of hard there. So I'm probably going to save up and get the full version, just so I can install it on more motherboards, just in case, say, my motherboard broke. I could just install it back onto it. But some people do say that you can phone up Microsoft and they will give you another activation key if your motherboard breaks. But I don't really want to take that chance, so I'm going to probably go with the full version just to be safer. And it also comes with the 32-bit and 64-bit. And I will definitely just use the 64-bit. 32-bit, not really for me. Slow and stuff and doesn't have as much. Okay, moving on to the keyboard now. I'm not going all out of the cool gaming keyboard, but it's £26 and it's blue LED lights on it, and it's clear, smooth by the looks of it. It will run really nice. Picture of it in the dark here. Looks pretty good, pretty nifty. But I have gotten used to a laptop keyboard, which is going to take some time getting used to like a normal keyboard again. Even though I use them at school, for gaming wise, I know where I want to put my hands, whereas it would probably be slightly more over to the left where I'll put my actual hand. But anyway, this seems to be a good professional gaming keyboard, and it's sleek, anti-static, it's waterproof, and most important, it's designed for gamers. It's a USB, so it's not a wireless one. You just USB it in and it'll work. Okay, now I want to move on to the mouse, and the mouse is not the best mouse you could have gone for. It's only £3.49. It's a wired optical gaming mouse. It's 6 buttons and adjustable. It's LED again. I think it's for a futuristic look, like it says here. But I've just gone for a cheap one. I've already got a mouse. It's a Microsoft wireless mobile mouse, I think. It's a wireless one, and I love wireless ones now. You can just move it anywhere and it still works. But this was just really like a cheap gaming mouse. Wasn't too much I was looking for in a mouse as such. You might also want to get like a mouse pad to keep it there and everything. But, you know, this isn't the most important part in our build. Okay, now moving on to our monitor. I've gone with the Asus VE247H 24 inch, so it's pretty big, good for gamers. You're able to see stuff, but you can go for like a 23, 22 inch, say if you're not used to big screens for gaming. I think the bigger the screen, the more you see, the better you do. But I'll have to measure the screen I'm using now, because I do like my size of the size of the screen I'm using, and I'll measure that, see how much it is. I think mine's about 20 inches or something, maybe even 17 inch, but 24 inch seems to be good. It costs £141.63, and I'm not actually buying my monitor. I'm getting my parents to buy it for me, because they said that they'd help me buy my computer, but I'd have to get all the money to get all the parts, and then they'd help me buy the monitor in one way, and then they might look into getting me Windows 7, and also, if possible, because my mom is getting a pay raise by a couple of grand, I think, and that's going to be like spare that we can spend, and she says she might put aside some of that for me to spend on my gaming PC. Anyway, back to the monitor. It's a full HD 1080p. It supports HDMI. It's got a 2 millisecond response time. Some people do say that response time isn't what it actually says it is. Like, someone did a test on a 2 millisecond response time and a 5 millisecond response time monitor, and the highest on the 2 millisecond response time was 300 milliseconds that it took to respond, whereas on the 5 millisecond it was 250 milliseconds response time, which tells you stuff. But anyway, it's pretty thin, this monitor. Pretty big. It's got clear buttons here. on, off, all that kind of stuff. Sleek design, everything you want in a gaming monitor, really. Okay, now the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm going to be showing you first the graphics card I've chosen, and this is the most expensive component in our build, but it's probably also one of the best and needed components in our build. I've chosen the XFX Radeon R9 280X AMD graphics card. It's got 3 gigabytes of, I think it's VRAM, and it's absolutely amazing. It's £240, so it is pretty hefty in price. Like I said, it is our most expensive component in the build, but I would say it's worth it. It's 6000 megahertz GDDR5. Its GPU is 850 megahertz. It's got a boost of 1000 megahertz, and it supports the DVI, HDMI, and MD ports. No games are actually included. I think before this did have Battlefield 4 included in it. But this card can run every single game, I think, on probably max settings if you have like enough RAM and stuff, on 1080p Full HD, no matter what. I reckon this could run. I think this actual card can run Battlefield 4 ultra settings, Full HD, 1080p, stable at like 60, 70 FPS or something. No lag or anything. It's just, and the design of the card, it's just so slick. It looks so nice, and the box, it's not too big, not too small. But this would just nuke all the games, and it's just amazing. 5 out of 5 star reviews. Let's just read the reviews. The first one is, this card is fantastic. It has a great black PCB, so it looks great through a side window. The cooler looks and performs excellently. I never hear it, so it's a quiet card, and the cooler keeps the card very cool. And it has enough performance to basically max out almost all games on a single monitor, and it falls in quite high on benchmarks, beating the GTX 770 often, which is more expensive than this card. So the GTX 770, if we go and open up a new webpage here, if we go GTX 770, so I reckon it's this card, no, 3 gigabyte, maybe they don't do like a 2 gigabyte one, but it costs a lot, and apparently it's a lot better. Not a lot better, but it often beats it. And I've actually heard quite a lot of my friends who are into building computers, who know a lot about computers, say that the GTX 770 is probably one of the best cards out there, and in its price range, let's say. But this apparently beats the GTX 770 like a lot of times in benchmarking, which is performance, and it's cheaper, so you might want to go with this. And if Mantle takes off this card, it will be unbeatable in terms of value at its price point. I'm not too sure what the Mantle takes off this card, but I reckon that means something. They would take something off it, like overclocking it or something, and it will be unbeatable at its price. So this dude recommends this product. And the next one is the best GPU I have ever owned. Okay, so this dude says this card is not only pretty, and it looks better in person, but it performs brilliantly. Once I got this installed, I ran through my entire games collection, benchmarking them as I went. My results were astounding. Everything I ran at max settings was topped at 60 FPS, VSync always on, and I saw it dip to 45/50 FPS only once or twice throughout all the games. He ran Crysis 3, Metro Last Night, The Light, Tomb Raider, Total War, Rome 2, Splinter Cell Blacklist. Overall, it was an absolute beast, and I can't bear to imagine the power when you crossfire 2 or even 4 of these cards. The card is not noisy. In all his tests, it was barely audible, and even when it does become audioble, or whatever that is, it is, and apparently for some strange reason off this dude, it's not an annoying fan noise like you hear everywhere else. Like my fan on here, it's not an annoying fan noise, but it is pretty loud when it wants to be. And apparently the graphics card call of like fan noise is a soothing sound. And his final thoughts about this card for anyone is buy this card if you have any sense about you. And he's stated 3 points saying if you want good looks, this card has it. If you want power, this card spades of it. If for some reason you want to be soothed by the noise of a fan, this card can do it. But he also says price to performance, this is an astounding buy. So he says that for the price of it, even though it might seem a lot at £240, for the performance you get out of it, you can't beat it. Really, it's like the best card in its price range. So he recommends it as well. And like I said, it does look amazing. But there is also another card, the same card, but slightly boosted. And let me just find that here. So it's the same card. This is only £16-17 more. It's the same card, 3 GB again, except for instead of 6000 MHz, it's got 6200. Instead of 850 GPU, it has 1080, and again it has HDMI and all that. And yeah, it's a pretty neat card. And then the one review, it's great design and quality build. Just a great this card, absolutely love it. Runs game on ultra settings like a dream, and it's much quieter than my last graphics card. Haven't had any issues with it yet. Would recommend it to anyone thinking of buying a 280X. So for this card, it comes with tons of stuff, and it's just amazing. And it's slightly better than the other one, but I would say this card's all you really need. I was thinking of getting this one, so if you do want to splash out slightly more cash, and like you just have some sitting there, you've got tons of RAM, everything else, I'd say splash out probably another 17 quid just to get the boosted card. And again, it looks really nice. Okay, now for the final part, well, the final 2 parts, which is going to be the cooler fan, which I'll show you first, and then the actual CPU fan. So, no, CPU, sorry, not CPU fan. So, for the CPU cooler fan, I've gone with the NZXT Technologies Respa T20 cooling fan. I couldn't find this, like, for the UK as such, so I've just gone with this. Actually, no, I think I did. Did I? No. Unless... No, okay. Anyway, I'll find a UK site for this, but it does only cost $21.70, which probably comes from around about £15. But I think actually in the US, parts for components for PCs are cheaper. Sorry about that. So I reckon in the UK this is, I think I found actually one, but I didn't save it in my favourites, and I think it was £23 4 so it's not much. And there's a T40 as well, which is slightly better design, probably better cooling and everything, and costs like $15 more. Anyway, now on to our last part, which is the second most expensive part, but if you don't class as a monitor, is going to be the CPU. I've decided to go with the AMD FX8 350. It's the black edition. I don't really know whether the black edition really matters. But this is an 8-core processor, and Intel mainly have 4 cores, I think, on their best cards, CPU cards and stuff like that. And I think most of the modern games now are turning to 6 or 8 core CPUs. And this is a 4 gigahertz clocked card. I think it can be overclocked to about 4.2 gigahertz. It says 4 gigahertz slash 4.2 gigahertz. So either that's its clock speed is that, or clock speed is 4 gigahertz, and it can be overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. And 8 meg level 3 cache, 8 meg level 2 cache. It takes up 125 watts, which is the only downside. It does take up quite a lot of your power supply. But for the price of it, £144.90, it's an absolute beast. And it's pretty much the same as an Intel i7, I think 2570 or something. It's one of the best CPU rate, let me get my words out. It's similar in performance to an Intel i7 processor, and I'm not sure which one it is most likely, but its speeds, it is just amazing. And they, not sure how much they actually have, but it is usually only £64.15. But this card, I've looked it up on YouTube for a bit and seen test runs and stuff. Battlefield 4 runs fine on. If you're a Minecraft fan, then it can run Minecraft on it. The top other games, such as I think Call of Duty Ghosts is one, it can run that. All of that is great. Now, you want to know the entire proper prices for this. So I've made a little notepad document here, and put the CPU, the motherboard, the case, the RAM, the graphics card, the hard drive, the PSU, the cooler fan, the DVD drive, Windows 7 OEM. I haven't done the full version, even though that's what I'm going to get. The full version cost £130, so it costs £64 extra, I think. So just add that onto that. Keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So this is the full build, and the total cost of it is £927.14, plus 64 saves you're changing Windows 7 OEM to Windows 7 full. That would probably be more around the lines of £990. So nearer to £1,000 if you do Windows 7 full. Plus, if you change the monitor or mouse, then you want to make that higher. But to be honest, I would just keep this the best. This is probably the best gaming setup you can get with this. Like, this will be the best performance. One monitor, best performance. The only thing I would say is 8GB of RAM. It's perfect for gaming. But if you're a hardcore gamer, switch to 16GB of RAM in two 8GB DDR3 slots, because then even if one breaks, you still have 8 gig, and 16 gig will just be through everything you throw at it, and it will leave some spare for random processes in the background. Plus the CPU, there are better versions of AMD and stuff, and if you do want to go with Intel, because apparently they are more trustworthy, go with Intel. But just want to make it clear to you that Intel i7 for the same gigahertz, if I type it in on Google here, Intel like i7, 4 gigahertz, or is it 3.9 gigahertz? No, that's the Intel page. Okay, that's the entire full game PC. Where are we at then? Yeah, you can see here the Intel i7 2600 quad core. So it's only 4 cores, so we have double the amount of cores. And if you look here, 3.4 gigahertz. So we have 0.6 more gigahertz, which is actually pretty much, right, that's a lot faster. And this card actually will cost more than our card, but our CPU processor. Even Intel are, like, they are good. I will give them that. But AMD apparently can run processors faster, more efficiently, and they're starting to get into the PC gaming industry a lot more in the custom PC builds. Lots of people are actually seeing them in their PC build and are saying how good they think they are. And the performance they give out is absolutely great. And this one, 4 gigahertz, 8 cores, so you have amazing core amount, tons of processes you can do. Background processes, I reckon you could run Minecraft full settings with this build. Max settings, about 100 FPS, so that's great. And like normal, probably 120-ish, short, tiny, 200-ish. So shaders you can probably get about 80 with on max settings as well. So that's great. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Peace. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, favorite the video if you enjoyed it, and hopefully when I get all the parts, I'll show me unboxing them before I actually build it. But I probably will have my dad around to help me build it all, set it all out. I'll have to find a decent place to build it. Oh, and one final thing is get I think it's an anti-static band for PC. You want one of these. They're not much. They're about £3, but you have to because static electricity can either break your computer components or can decrease their lifetime in your actual case. So get one of these so you know you don't have any static electricity on you at all times, so you're decharged, and then it will give you the maximum effect of workspace and like time for all your components, so it will last longer. And I just want to say that if you do want to go with this type of stuff, wherever it is, no, not there. Where is it? Never mind. If you want to go with 3 monitor gaming, so like the full gaming experience, then I would recommend probably getting another one of these graphics cards, so you have 2, because then you won't have any FPS drops or anything coming into your games, and that, you know. Also, there's a piece of equipment someone on YouTube put out saying that all you need is a HDMI and USB thing, and you plug it in and it sets all the monitors up. But remember, with the 3-way PC build, monitor build, then another graphics card, and remember that it will cost you a lot more. You could probably make another computer, gaming computer, that can run most games for the price it would take for the PC, for the components. Say this graphics card, this monitor, you're talking what, 282, 143 times 2. Well, that's £283.26 just for the extra 2 monitors, plus 239.14. You'd be spending another £522.40, and with that you could make a pretty good computer. You need, but then again, say you have adding 2 more of these, like I told you, well, I'd recommend getting 2 more of these. That's another £46.84 times 2, which would mean £616.08 more. So for like this will run most games anyway. So just stick with one month for the time being. Get all that, get it sorted, get what you want, and then after all that, if you really want to go with the all-round gaming experience, start saving up. And just remember, you don't need to get the same graphics card. Like, this build was actually recommended by someone who did recommend this graphics card. It's like half the price of the other one, and this will still run quite a lot of games. And with this one, it's a silver reward, so you can choose 2 free games to come with it. And it's pretty good, 5,000 megahertz, 1,000 megahertz, all that. But I just told him that I want something with a lot of power that can run most games. And he said that I put in, I think it was the MSI something, 270X AMD Radeon graphics card, and it was like, no, you want to go with this graphics card because this just nukes the one I told him, which was 153 quid. He said that this one is so much better that it makes the other one look like dog shit. Pretty much like that. So, all done and dusted. AMD again, but they're really good graphics cards no matter what. CPU great. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.